Hello everybody, I'm the Chatterbox Gamer. Well, welcome back to Kingdom Hearts. This is Normal Run. Today, I think we're just going to go off and do... I thought you popped up in the last episode, but I skipped it. So, apparently that the Hercules Cup only pops down after a certain amount of worlds are completed. I honestly thought I skipped it for Neverland. That's like, you know, last episode, it started with a dialogue box. I thought I accidentally skipped it. I guess not. Well, we're going to be doing the Hercules Cup this round. But last time I was here doing the Pegasus Cup, I really didn't do like the, you know, do it alone or do the time trial. So I think I might do that first before I do the Hercules Cup. And then I might do the same like with Hercules. Just because, you know, we're here. Might as well get it done with, you know. I feel more confident this time. This time around, I feel a little more confident as I'm a little stronger. So, Leon and Yuffie's not going to give me an issue. These guys shouldn't give me an issue, and in fact, they should probably go down pretty easily. I said easily, I didn't say, you know, they're going to be a complete pushover. What would your favorite cup be? To be honest, I probably think I like the Hades Cup. Mainly because there's a lot of enemies in there, and there's a lot more bosses. It feels like a challenge, you know? To be honest, I do like these arena fights. I like them in video games because it feels like it really puts your character through some sort of challenge just to be a bunch of enemies. Especially if you get, like, well, rewards for it. We don't really get much except for, like, a couple trophies, but they don't do much other than, like, showing that we did it. And I guess, you know, the experience does count as a reward. I say that outside of this game, the other game that had something similar to this would be Ratchet and Clank. This being from the PlayStation 2, not the newer ones, but the first time I've experienced it was in Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal. But that's because I couldn't play Ratchet and Clank 2 going commando. That game would break on me, so I just skipped to the third one and hope for the best, honestly. Fun fact about that Ratchet and Clank. So if you beat the game, there's a character from the, you know, second game, but she comes in her disguise, so it's not a spoiler for the second game. I just thought that was very interesting. Like, if you played it, you know the cameo, but if you didn't, it's like a random character that you don't know about, so it's kind of cool that they had that little Easter egg to it. Another good Easter egg is that if you were to play Ratchet and Clank 1, you become a Gadgetron employee, which is like the universe's store, basically. And Ratchet, at that scene, he asks, hey, since now that he's technically an employee, does he get like a discount? And the guy that you talk to, he says, yeah, but it only comes in 2 years. Well, 2 years later, I think it's either Ratchet and Clank 2 or maybe the third game, you do get a discount on, you know, Gadgetron. It would be the third game, because in the second game, the store you go to, since you go to a different universe, was MechCorp, so yeah, it would be the third game. Well, because you have a save file with the first game on it, you get a discount. So I thought that was an interesting little Easter egg that they added. The feature, whatever you call it. It's a nice callback to the original game, so yeah. I do know that in the second game, what you get is, like, you get your old classic weapons from the first game. But to be honest, the old classic weapons for me, they just didn't have enough punch for me to use them as much as I wanted to. If anything, they're there just, like, for a little bit of fan service. If that makes sense. To be honest, I remember that I felt like it was a lot easier just to smack every enemy with my wrench rather than the OG weapons. Which, to be honest, kinda bumped me out a bit. Because a lot of them were my favorites. Like, I like the Walloper, even though it was just a glorified boxing glove. I still liked it. One gun that seems a little universal in the series, which I would... other than the Rhino. I mean, the Rhino is a pretty good weapon. Like, it's the ultimate weapon. It's just... it's kind of a bitch to get because it usually costs so much. But the other weapon that I like that makes a constant return is the Suck Cannon. It is such a simple gun, but I love it so much. You don't need to buy ammo. In fact, if you don't know what the Suck Cannon is, Think of it as an overpowered vacuum cleaner that sucks in small enemies. At least that's what it was in the first game. Later on in the series, it got this new upgrade where you could suck up crates and you could shoot it back at people. Like, they upgraded it pretty well. So I'm glad it's, I'm glad it sticks around. The other gun that I like, there's always this, like, type of blaster that you get, like a pistol-like weapon. Granted, they're not really used for, like, a powerful offense. They're just, like, a good starting weapon. Honestly, it wouldn't feel like a Ratchet and Clank game if they didn't have some sort of pistol-like weapon or some sort of blaster. So, yeah, it might not be something I write home about, but, it just wouldn't feel complete without it. To be honest, Ratchet and Clank is like one of the few games where I say that I like all the weapons, but I would be lying if that were the case, because I could remember a couple of weapons that were just, like, not a favorite of mine. But that's, like, in the later games, they have this system where you upgrade your weapon as you level up, and the only way that you do it is by using the gun a bunch of times. So a lot of those weapons, like, starting out kind of suck, but as you level up, they get better. I'm trying to remember what weapon I'm thinking of. There's this one in Up Your Arsenal where it's just a shield that you throw in front of you. And it's not like, there's two versions of this weapon. One is a shield and one's an actual barrier. The barrier is extremely useful because it follows you around. The shield is you have to literally place it down somewhere and hope enemies hit it. So it's kind of like a situational weapon in my opinion. But other than that, I can't really think of another weapon. I mean, the Agents of Doom, they kind of start off as a little weak, but once you kind of level them up a bit, like, they're pretty good weapons. I mean, I won't lie, when you start New Game Plus, or whatever it's called, when the game gets a little harder, your weapons are a little, like, inefficient. You could go through, like, a whole ammo of, like, the concussion gun, and still have that one enemy still live, so it's like, it's a little, like, New Game Plus is for a difficult, like, you get what I mean, like, it's supposed to be harder. So, they introduced this nice thing called Omega Weapons, which means your old classic weapon that you use so much gets a nice needed upgrade and fucks with everything. And those, well, they costed a lot of, money, so earning them felt, like, rewarding once you finally got enough for, like, one of them. To be honest, I think I like the original Ratchet & Clank rather than the new one. Granted, I haven't played the sequel, A Rift in Time, just yet. And I've been avoiding, like, I know it's been out for a while, but I've been trying to avoid a lot of spoilers for it. So it's new when I play it. You can imagine that type of hell, am I right? But anyway, I did play, the one that came after the movie. I mean, if I have one little criticism with that, there's moments where if you try to record the game, it blocks recording. And you want to know why? It's because they use, like, in-movie cutscenes for the cutscenes. And a part of me just feels that's a little lazy. Yeah, you saved up some work, but I just feel like that's a little lazy. Another issue I have is, like, they try to, like, put all three games into one story. And I feel like that kind of takes away the impact of the stories. Because in the first game, you had Chairman Drake, who was taking apart worlds to make one super planet so he could sell it, only to go back and destroy worlds again and repeat. He was a villain that was, I'd say he was kind of menacing. Not too threatening, but he had, like, this menacing presence with him in the first game. But in the reboot, he's kind of like, he's not that scary. In fact, he's kind of, I'd say he's kind of pathetic. I mean, discussing this, I would have to stress the issue that I will be spoiling some things if you haven't played the game. I mean, a spoiler alert for, Ratchet and Clank, the PlayStation 4 version, the remake, whatever the hell you want to call it. See, Chairman Drake, he's just kind of swept under the rug during the game. I think they also did that to him during the movie, too. So it's like, you got the first villain who, I would say, was kind of... He was kind of a threat, but now you kind of wrote him off as, like, a joke. But then again, when you have him paired with a more menacing, more evil villain than he is, it's kind of, like, expected, you know? So, yeah. I think my main complaint was it felt like the story was kind of a little all over the place. And they put too much in one game, or too much in one movie, because, you know, it's taking aspects from all three games. Like, it just feels a little too, like, scrunched up. I mean, I also don't like how instantaneously that Ratchet and Clank were best friends. Like, there's no real conflict between the two. Again, I don't want to keep saying in the original game, because, you know, that's going to be a repeated phrase. It's just, in the first game, they started off as buddy-buddy, had a few disagreements, and started fighting for a bit. In fact, Ratchet was kind of an asshole to Clank for the good majority of it. But at the end of the game, they became great friends, and the sequels to show. So it's like, I really feel like they could have done better with that dynamic in the new version, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, game's not bad, it's fun to play. It's just, you know, like, you notice this little shit. It's worse if you played the original game, so, like, you have something to compare it to. But at the same time, it's not like, I don't want to paint the original games as picture perfect, because they weren't. If I have to make one complaint, I'd say that the controls for the original games were a little janky, at least with Ratchet and Clank 1. Like, for example, later games, they had this strafe button, like, added to, you know, the control scheme. But in the first one, that didn't exist, except for when you... I'm trying to think, what was it called? It was when... It's the upgrade where Clank is a jetpack. Like, if you press R1 twice, you could hover, and that was your strafe. So, yeah. And I know it doesn't sound like much, but you can't get a clear shot when you're running around. So, strafing, like, was your only way where you could really aim down, like, well enough, accurately. Now, I remember I said something that I don't know why, you know, white mushrooms or red truffles are in the game. At least for the arena part. They don't drop any items, so it seems pointless. But the next match is going to be Cloud. So I assume that there's some sort of breather match, just so you're ready. Now, Cloud, he has more health this time around. But at the same time, you really just want to avoid him. There is that one move that he does when his health does get too low. But we're stronger now. We'll be able to deal with them. Again, with that move, you just want to roll away. And I advise you to back up if you hit him. I don't really do that much because I'm an idiot. But if you can, I say like 1-2 hit and roll away. Man, it'd be insulting if I beat you with your own move. Oh, shit. He's doing his move. Wow. I dodged that well. I'm actually doing a lot better than I thought. Huh. Usually I get hit by at least one of those. Oh, well. I really don't want to... I really don't want to end up, you know, losing a fight. So I'm just going to beat him as quickly as I can. Whoops. Because, you know, he will do that move again. So, as soon as he's done, try to beat him as fast as you can so he doesn't do it again. Again, the counterattack, I would say it's not bad, but it does leave you kind of vulnerable if you're not prepared. I could have used Sonic Blade on you. Whoops. Oh well, we still have one more boss, and, well, obviously it's Hercules, but to tell you the truth, Cloud's probably the biggest challenge in this cup. Hercules, well, not a pushover. I wouldn't say he's exactly a difficult boss to handle. You just gotta be, you know, prepared for a couple of attacks. But other than that, he's, like I said, not difficult. I mean, I wouldn't say he's easy, but I wouldn't say it'd be like an issue. That would probably be the word to describe it. To be honest, I think these two matches would probably be challenging after Cloud, because either A, you're low on health, or B, you're low on magic and you can't heal, or maybe you're low on items. So these last two matches might be a little difficult, because at this point, you're probably beaten. You son of a bitch, how dare you. Also, while fighting Hercules, you'll be fighting by yourself, so Donald and Goofy won't be there to help you. But, like I said, he's not... I wouldn't say he's difficult, so no need to worry about it. It's just dealing with these last two matches that you need to be, you know, be aware. Damn it. You son of a bitch. Especially with these fuckers. They like to charge at you. Personally, I take out these enemies at... Thank you, dumbass. Personally, I take down the air pirates, and then the pirates, and then I go for the ships. Mainly because, one, the ships are tanky, and if they're starting to charge like that one is, it's going to be difficult taking out the other Heartless, so I might as well wait at the end when I know that these two are the only ones left. And then I try to focus on one. That way, I don't have two of them charging at me at once. Granted, them shooting at me is, you know, a pain in the ass, but the thing is, I'd rather have it shoot at me than charge at me, because I think the charge does a lot more damage than the actual missiles. There we go. Now we're ready to face Hercules. Alright, so Hercules here, he has two forms. He has his normal form, and then he has his golden aura form, or his god form. You can't hit him in his god form, but if you throw a barrel at him, you can attack him. Who would think that a god's one weakness would be goddamn wooden barrels? I mean, I know in the cutscene he says he wasn't holding back, but I think he's holding back. You son of a bitch. He also does that quite a bit, so he gives you an opening. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's very much holding back. Fuck you, Hercules. Why? I mean, his punches are easily dodgeable, too. And there are times where you could stun him. Example A. That's his running attack. I attacked him just as he was about to do it. You could guard this, but I'm a dumbass. I think you could also guard the punch too, but you have to have like some timing to it. He does this one attack where he spins around with his sword, which honestly, if I were you, I'd just keep guarding and hope for the best. Because that one I remember killing me a lot as a kid. And as we get to the last bit of health, he will be more aggressive, but not too aggressive. See, there's the attack. I was in a bad position there. That could have killed me. So, instead of doing that, you should guard. Or dodge roll away. Well, actually, we do have the gliding ability. We could also just glide away. That's a possibility. Okay, he's ready. I'm gonna hit him with a barrel. Very close to death, buddy. Oh, shit. You know, honestly, I don't really get hit by that move. I think Past Me just wanted to get hit by it once, just for shits and giggles. Past Me is a jackass. Don't destroy my barrels! I love those barrels, you bastard! There we go. I avenge my barrels. Fuck you. The barrels are in the cutscene. They're the real winners, because, you know, we wouldn't be able to win without them.
We're the champs!
Wow! And I didn't even hold back!
Now I finally know what you mean about strength of heart. Mine comes from Donald and Goofy.
Come again?
If we stick together, we're unbeatable. Not even Hercules stands a chance. With these guys beside me, I'm ready for anything.
But that's not exactly what...
Of course. Your friends give you strength. Isn't that right, Phil? The three of you together make great heroes. And as a team, I'm sure you can overcome anything.
We still have one more cup to do, but that's unlocked later. There's a nice space right there, and now that we know the Yellow Trinity, we can finally use it on that thing right there. Metal Chocobo or Olympia? I got the Metal Chocobo first, so I'll use that for a bit. That's that world dealt with. We still technically have more to deal with the cups, but I think they could be put on hold for now. I want to talk to you. What do you have to say? Well, you got beat by a kid with a key and some wooden barrels. I wouldn't be happy to do if I was your trainer. But we also need to grab the Yellow Trinities. Also, there's some chests that I didn't grab because I couldn't, like... I know there's one chest here I couldn't grab, so I'm gonna get that now. I think it's the one in the Lotus Forest. Has to be the one where you needed to glide just to get... Like, we have a couple that we could grab, you know? So, a while back, I saw the Uncharted movie. Okay. If I'm to be fair, if it was an action movie on its own, it's passable. But since I know the damn game, since I played the game, I have to ask. I just have to ask. Why the hell did they start with the 4 fucking game? I mean, if you started the movie from the first game, you have 3 other sequels that you could have done. But no, you started at the last game and gave a potential sequel. Hinting at, you know, Nathan Drake's brother, which, to be honest, I kind of didn't like that with the 4th game. Like, he always had a brother, but it never really got mentioned. Like, that was, I felt like a out of left field, if you ask me, but I looked past it and I enjoyed the game. Thinking about it, I'd say the silhouette kind of looked like how he looked in the game, which makes me question why they picked Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg to play as Nathan Drake and Sully. Like, they don't really look like the characters, and honestly, I give it a pass if they felt like the characters, but they just don't feel like the characters, you know? Like, they don't. That's my thoughts in the movie. Like, I'm not looking at Nathan Drake, I'm looking at Tom Holland. Same with Mark Wahlberg. I'm not looking at Sully, I just see, you know, Mark Wahlberg. I'm not saying that they're bad actors or anything, it's just, I didn't think that they fit the role, honestly. If I were to rate it, though, well, if I didn't know Uncharted, I'd say 7 out of 10. Average movie. Not horrible, but it could be a little better. But since I do, I'd say 5 out of 10, mainly because there's a lot of, like... I'm not saying it was god-awful, but it could have been better. To be honest, we have, like, I'd say 20 more minutes of this. Really, I'm just going out through the Trinities, like... There's nothing really to help you out or explain, I mean... I'm just trying to figure out what conversation I could share, just to, you know, pass the time. Time, I said it as the clock popped up. No, stupid joke, sorry. I know a couple weeks ago, me and my friends, we went to see Megan. Just an okay movie. For some reason, I was expecting it to be a little more violent. But then I realized that it's a PG-13 movie. It's fitting for its rating. One thing that my friends and I agreed is that we didn't... Can you move the camera? Thank you. We kind of agreed that the adults were kind of assholes when we were actually rooting for the damn robot to win. It's like, okay, the aunt, she was kind of, she's new to raising kids. I could get that. But the person that kind of rubbed me the wrong way was like the fucking Child Protective Service agent. Like, I think she jumped the gun by saying that What's-Her-Face is not a good, like, parental figure for, you know, like, what was it, Katie? I think it was that name. Honestly, at this point in movies, I forget people's names. I'm like, it was that character, What's-His-Face, or it was her. What's her name? Yeah. Or if it's a horror movie. If it's a horror movie, I have categories on what I call the characters. I'll be like, it's a stoner dude. And people are like, but he hasn't, like, he didn't smoke anything. And I'm like, you look at that person and tell me they're not a stoner. They're definitely the stoner of the group. And so on and so on. But honestly, a lot of horror movies now, I don't know why, but I kind of just root for the bad guy to win. Like, I don't like the survivors. Like, sometimes they just rub me the wrong way and it's like, you're kind of a douchebag. I can't, like, it'd be one thing if they were an asshole, like, one moment, but if they're constantly an asshole, it's like, why do I want you to survive? Why do I want you to survive? I mean, yeah, you're a person. I shouldn't hope for your downfall, at least not in this sense, but still, you're kind of being a dick. I mean, I could be more forgiving if it's like, haha, I'm such a dick kind of attitude, but no, they're legitimately just being a fucking dick. You know, speaking of horror movies, because now I'm focused on that, like, what horror movie villain do you think you will win against? Like, any villain, just like, which ones do you think you will win against? Okay, so, the one I think I could win against, I'd say Chucky for sure, because he's just a fucking doll. I mean, actually, that brings up the question, are we talking about the new Chucky, the classic Chucky? I'm referring to the classic Chucky, because he's literally just a goddamn doll. You could yeet the motherfucker out a window, and he'll be out of your hair for a few minutes. Granted, he will come back. His main, you know, his strength is the element of surprise. So, yeah, if I fight him, the best bet would just kill him first encounter. That way he doesn't, you know, get me off guard. Who else? Let's see. I'd say I feel confident with, you know, Ghostface, but the thing is, with Scream, there's always two killers, so if I take down one, chances are the second guy is probably gonna get me. But at the same time, like, it's just somebody with a knife. Like, say I have a gun on me. Like, I win the fight. You don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Like, no shit. The only disadvantage I would have is that if I was surprised, which I think a lot of the, you know, people serial killers or horror movie icons, I think that's their edge, is that they could take me by surprise and that's how I would die. But other than that, like, if it's just a normal human, I think I have a chance on winning and surviving. I did not mean to come into this room. I meant to go to the other room. For anything paranormal or demonic, no, definitely not. I mean, I'm positive I'll die. Or worse, get possessed. I think that'd be worse than death, honestly. Like, imagine you get possessed and a demon's using your body. Nice. Thank you. Fuck you, you piece of shit. The demon's just crying in the corner. Why is your body like this, man? Why does everything fucking hurt? I honestly don't know. It just started happening one time, and, you know, you get used to it. Do me a favor. Take it back. Oh, no. You wanted it. You could have it for a while. I mean, that'd be a trip. Seeing, like, you're not in control, but you could see what's going on. Like, that'd be kind of a trip. That's actually kind of horrifying now that I think about it. Like, you can't control your actions, but somebody else is. It's like, holy shit. Please don't do anything that would hurt my reputation, or my friends, or my family. I mean, if I were to choose on who I'd rather protect, fuck my reputation. Don't hurt my friends or family. You know, speaking about ghost demons and all that possession bullshit, you know what movie I didn't give a shit about? The Ouija board movie. The fucking Ouija board movie. I honestly didn't care for it. Like, you remember how I said I kind of root for all the survivors to fail? This was one of those movies. I was like, A, you're all a pack of assholes. B, the only rule I'll give you an exception on is rule number 2, but you fuckers keep breaking the rest. It's like, number 1, don't play alone. Easy fucking rule, right? No. Someone fucking breaks it all the goddamn time. Rule 3, always say goodbye. Again, you motherfuckers keep forgetting to say goodbye. I know it's a small thing, but it's only 3 fucking rules. Like I said, rule 2 got the exception, mainly because they didn't know their house was on a fucking grave. So, yeah, rule 2, they get excused from rule number 2. But rule number 1 and 3, oh, no. You fuckers knew that rule. And you broke it several times. Like, honestly. Actually, on second thought, they kind of just broke rule 1. I could see them I could see somebody forgetting to say goodbye. So it's more like they forgot rule number 3. But rule number 1, oh yeah, they definitely broke it. You definitely broke it. You're asking for whatever is haunting you. Okay, to be honest, I'm trying to remember while we're back in Halloween Town, because I'm pretty sure we got all the oh, wait a minute. No, we didn't. We still have, like, a couple more chests to grab. It's, like, in the one thing that we could, like, so, in the next room over, there's this one place that we can't access to, even after we beat the boss, so we have to leave the world and come back. Now we're able to go through it. I kind of forgot about it. I mean, this is kind of why I grab everything I can on the first trip. It's just so I don't forget about it later. I mean, again, I'm kind of glad that the treasure chests aren't counted as, you know, a part of the journal for it to be complete. Otherwise, I'd be, like, losing my hair here. I know that in later games that they do include, like, a little treasure counter where you can see which treasure chests that you missed. But I don't think if they included it in the first game, I don't think that would be, like, a thing. If that makes sense. I think there are 4 treasure chests here. Maybe 3? Thinking 4, though. Is that all? Nope. I was right. There was 4. Alright, well, I'm pretty sure we're done here. I can't think of anything else, like, any other reason for us to be here. Alright, I think... I'm positive we got everything in this room, so we could go now. I was just double-checking real quick. If I have to make a guess, the next place we'll be going to will probably be Agrabah. Because we do have a couple things that we couldn't get there on our first trip. Like, you need the glide ability to get, like, to a couple of them. I know that there's also, like, a yellow trinity in Agrabah. So, we have that to deal with. At this point, we should have, like, I'd say 3 down out of 5. You know, counting the Agrabah one, obviously. Not that we got it just yet, but since I know we're gonna get there, I'm just gonna count it. At this part of the game, you can only get 4 out of 5. The last one will be in Hollow Bastion. That's also where we're going to be learning the White Trinity, and that will be the last Trinity. And the thing is, the White Trinity appears in all the worlds, so once we get it, it's going to be a small little trip to go to each world and find them. But basically, once we get to Hollow Bastion, that'll be like the last of the Trinities to deal with. I mean, unless I missed one in Monstro, which I remember I did in the God run, and I found it by accident, so yeah. That was a bit awkward, but I at least found it. So, good enough, I guess. After here, I think we'll end it on Traverse Town. Originally, I was going to include the 100 Acre Woods, but I felt like time was kind of pressing on. We'll save that for the next episode. I think that's what I'm going to do. Just so that, you know... I mean, it shouldn't take us that long, should it? I mean... Then again, I don't think I've... No, wait a minute. No, this is a run where I didn't do any of the pages just yet. That's right. I almost forgot about that. I also have to double check to see if, you know, I have all the Dalmatians, you know, needed for the last page, because returning... I forgot how many puppies you need. I think it's over 50, but over 50 puppies gets you the last page for the 100 Acre Wood. I think that's where my level 1 run kind of messed up on. And that's where the Heartless is. I'm pretty sure I explained this in a different video, but the special Heartless here is... It hides in one of these pots. It's the one that doesn't move. Do we have time for this? I guess we have time for this. You know, I remember that there's like a way to beat this Heartless without Donald and Goofy. You just summon somebody. But at the time, I kind of forgot about it. To be honest, I probably should do that if I were trying to get the item. Just because it's kind of annoying to try to hit this fucker with Donald and Goofy also taking the hits, you know? Like, for example, can't get a good hit in, and before I know it, can't hit. I think with this one, it depends on how fast you beat it to get the item. I could be wrong on that part, but it just feels like if I don't finish it off quickly enough, it doesn't give me an item. To be honest, I don't know why I decided to pick a fight with this thing, knowing that it takes a good few minutes just to beat. So, well, I wouldn't say a good few minutes. I'd say maybe a minute if you're unlucky. Today, I'm unlucky. Ooh, that was a good finisher. Plus, we got the item, so that's good. I can't tell you how many times I have like a bad drop with that one, because honestly, it seems like it's that one item that doesn't like to drop with me, and it's like, ugh. You get what I mean? It's like frustrating. If I were to pick a different item, if like, you know, annoying to get my hands on, I would say it was Serenity Power. Not because, look, it's with that giant mushroom that I keep talking about. You have to hit it a certain number of times while it's stopped, but since stop kind of doesn't last that long, it's kind of like, there's methods to do it, but you're not going to get like your first time around is what I'm trying to say. And I keep forgetting that I've changed my customization here. Okay, we're good. I really ought to change it before I like really need it, because I remember there was times where I moved my cure and it screwed me over a bit. I mean, it wasn't too problematic. It was just like, I think the Olympus Coliseum and I lost a match. It's like nothing that'll take me far too back, but still, kind of it's a bit bothersome, you know? Alright, we got these guys down. Gotta get rid of you. I probably should have stayed hanging. Alright. These guys are out of the way. Oh, wait, there's one more. Did I say one? I meant 3. Soon to be 2. Alright, now that they're dealt with, all you have to do is simply jump and glide to the, platform. I think you could make it with a high jump, but it's easier just to, get the glide ability and get it like that. And from here, we go all the way this way. We can see the Yellow Trinity. We're going to push this. To be honest, I don't think we need this platform, or whatever the hell it's called, to get to the, well, you'll see in a minute. Because there's an entrance that opens up through a touch, but since we have high jump now, I really don't think we kind of need that. I mean, if we unlocked the Yellow Trinity early on before we got high jump, yeah, it makes sense. But the thing is, like, I think we could... Nope, never mind. I mean, we could make it with a high jump and a glide, but if you don't have the glide... Actually... No, I take it back, because the Yellow Trinity kind of unlocks after you get glide. Because it's tied to the Hercules Cup, so it's, like, kind of weird that we need this. Does that make sense? Am I just overthinking it? Maybe it was an oversight? Oh, well, we're done here. We could go back to Driver's Town now. We really just have one thing to grab here before I call it an episode. And that's the, Yellow Trinity. Scratch that, we need two things, because I remember there's also a chest that we've yet to grab. And I don't know if we got the summon yet. But I'll check to make sure we don't have any summons that haven't, got their power. Have I? Okay, I'm all up to date on my summons. Good to know. I mean, I think the Mermaid Kick could get you to that rock over there if you don't have glide, but you have to, like, angle it, I think. I think. Don't quote me on that. I remember I was able to do it, but it takes a little bit of effort to do it, I like to think that the puppies that are in the chest have their own little pocket dimension. Like a pseudo paradise where they have some fun, but honestly, they prefer to go back home. Well, thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Take care, and please like and subscribe.